Hola, mi gente. Welcome to another episode of My Child, My Voice Parent Connection Show, brought to you by the National Parents Union, a show for parents by a parent. My name is Wendy Gonzales-Neal. I'm a mother of 4 and a grandmother of 2, and as well as the executive director of My Child, My Voice here in Houston, as well as the Texas delegate for the National Parents Union. Let's see, my phone is going off over here on the side of me. We are officially back in back to school season now. And today I wanted to talk about everything that's happening across our nation, but mostly what's happening here in the state of Texas with our babies stressing, going back to school in person. And we got a lot to talk about. A lot of things are happening here in Texas. I don't know about in other states. I know there's a lot going on. I know we're going to talk about the virtual learning options. School districts around Texas were very upset because they're wanting to still continue actually virtual learning options for their students due to the rise of COVID cases here in Texas. And so last session, it got nixed to where there was no funding to help virtual learning. And that is terrible when it comes to our legislative elected officials, actually, for doing something like that. But before I start going into the virtual learning here in Texas, I wanted to mention about Governor Abbott, his executive order for face masks that cannot be mandate for, students and staff here in Texas. That is a hot topic right now in Texas in regards to petitions that are going out crazy right now to the governor's office and our education commissioner, Mike Morath, letting him know that we want, the mask mandates happening in schools. And so right now petitions have been flooding, the governor's office across the state from parents. Even schools are actually sending these petitions to change the executive order for mask mandates, since students will begin in-person instruction this school year. On August 9th, I will tell you the first wave of petitions were sent out to the governor and the commissioner. It was about 22,609 petitions were sent, signatures were sent to the governor's office via email. That tells you a lot about Texas, that we are serious when it comes to our babies. We want to see that change. I applaud everybody for signing. Me, myself, I signed as well the petition. Keep signing that petition. Another petition is seen out there. I'm going to share that in a little bit with you to show you that petition. And it's going to go out this Friday right now. So I'm going to show you that one as well. But we're going to talk a little bit about, the governor's special session that's going on. And this is a special session. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you what and why he has a special session. What I'm sharing with you right now is what the Governor Abbott's second special session, his agenda items. He has 17 items, and I'm showing you this here on the items where he has federal relief, bail form, he has what I'm looking at mostly as a mom, and the work that we're doing here is education. Strategies for public school education in pre-K through 12th grade during COVID pandemic. That is on his agenda. He has border security, social media censorship, Article X funding, family violence prevention, even youth sports. That's something parents need to check, actually keep an eye on when it regards to Senate Bill 29 that was passed this past regular session. But I think, the one that's really getting my attention is this critical race theory. The governor had put this back on his agenda, similar to House Bill, 3979, concerning critical race theories, because he wanted back to its original par when it comes to that. And, I have to say, with, the governor's agenda, I applaud him for bringing this on the agenda when it comes to the critical race theory. This has been a hot topic across our nation. But he's bringing this back because he feels like the elected officials did not finish their job, and he wants everybody to talk about it and bring it back on plate. So this is the reason why he put it back on his agenda. And parents, I have to say, you know, we got to get our elected officials to bring this back up again. You know, what do we want this, you know, here? And when it comes to, you know, the critical race theory, I'm going to remove that right now. But this kind of gives you an idea of his agenda. And I'm going to go more into what's going on in the legislative session, because it is crazy right now when it comes to our elected officials right now, what they're doing. And what I wanted to bring about is how many school districts right now in the state of Texas that are mandating the mask mandate. And this is what we're going to go on here. In Houston, you know, school districts in Houston areas are coming up with options. They're really trying to do virtual learning to help these families, because they know a lot of families who are not ready to send their kids back in person, because especially our elementary age, you know, kids are not able to be vaccinated. You know, parents are concerned, you know, well, wait a minute, you know, governor lifted the mask mandate here in Texas, and we want this back in if you're going to require our kids to go back, you know, in person. And so some districts out here are allowing limited enrollment into virtual, you know, schooling because of the rising COVID cases right now that are happening in Texas, although the state has not funded a virtual learning option because, as I mentioned, the last school year, you know, thanks to our elected officials, they nixed that funding. Fort Bend ISD announced that in-person will begin on August the 11th. Virtual option will be available for some of Fort Bend County, you know, Fort Bend ISD later this month. And I have to applaud the parents at Fort Bend ISD because they expressed their concern over the safety of their children, and they told the district, hey, we want some changes, and they listened. Cy-Fair ISD also announced they recognize that their, you know, kindergarten through sixth grade students are not eligible for vaccination. So Superintendent Henry announced, though, although face masks cannot be mandated, he actually strongly, and I'm going to say strongly, encouraged to wear face masks while indoors at campuses. Conroe ISD is another school district that they announced that they will offer limited virtual learning for students from pre-K to sixth grade, most likely for, you know, like they did last semester, but online will begin later this month. They're saying as of August 23rd. There is an application you have to fill out for Conroe ISD. I know the application, it closes today, but I don't know what time. So check that out, parents, for Conroe ISD. Now, let's talk about Houston Independent School District, which is the largest school district here in Texas. Superintendent Millard House said that he is actually proposing a mask mandate as students return to the district, despite what Governor Abbott's orders, you know, to campus. Thursday will be the, you know, HISD school board meeting, and they were going to vote about the mask mandate. You know, there has been rumors, a lot of trustees are actually, the school board trustees have been saying they are going to vote for that in favor. So that's looking good for that. A lot of parents have been putting in petitions, talking to, you know, the school board trustees and as well as Superintendent House. So I applaud those parents for speaking up and telling them, hey, this is what we want, for getting over, you know, 20,000 signatures. And then also taking those signatures to Governor Abbott to lift the mask ban in Texas schools. So I have to say, you know, that was one of the things that I have to say for HISD parents, that they are working hard and saying, nope, we're not going to deal with this anymore. You need to listen to us. I'm telling you, this is the year of the parents. HISD is considering limited remote instructions for selected students in the district. But even though they have a teacher shortage, they do have positions open. If you are a teacher or a former teacher, if you're retired, they are encouraging you to apply because they want to push for, you know, remote instructions. Now, It has been alerted. I just found out today that a judge allowed San Antonio and Bexar County to issue mask mandates for school districts. So that's a win for the San Antonio school districts, San Antonio ISD, as well as Harlandale. They will follow the local mask mandate that the judge has sent out. I know San Antonio ISD superintendent had sent a letter recommending students to wear masks, and now they're pushing more for that. So applaud you on that one. Dallas, being the second largest school district, they announced that they will require masks. Dallas ISD will require masks at their schools. They are the second largest school district here in Texas behind HISD. So they're also pushing for the mask mandate. Austin ISD also announced that they will require masks for all students, staff, and visitors. They will also be offering virtual learning options for students kindergarten through 6th grade. So this is actually awesome to hear. And then, with all of these schools trying to push for this, they're listening to us as parents. They're saying that, hey, they're listening to the community, they're listening to the parents because we're wanting the mask mandate. I don't blame you. COVID cases have been rising here in Texas. Our babies are not able to get vaccinated. Some parents, as I talk to them here in Texas, are scared to even get their kids vaccinated, even if they are of age, because it's the unknown, right? A parent has that option to allow to get their kids vaccinated or not. But here's the thing, we have to protect our babies. We have to have those mask mandates, social distancing. So if we're required to put our kids to in-person instruction, then we should have our safety protocols put in place. And these school districts are really working hard to get that done. So as I mentioned, all of these school districts, Fort Bend, Cy-Fair, Conroe, Houston Independent School District, Austin ISD, Dallas ISD, San Antonio ISD, as well as Harlandale ISD are all working hard to get their students. They're putting their students first, and they're thinking of their safety. So applaud all of you guys. If your school district has not put in a policy or state right now, since we're in the season of back to school, push for that. School board meetings are back in place. Go talk to your trustees. Tell them what you want to see. Go talk to your principal. Go talk to your superintendent of your schools. They are listening. I know sometimes it gets difficult. They're not, but this is one when it comes to our babies, we really do need to push. But I have to say that even though the governor also won't let schools mandate vaccines, but it's not the case in private schools here in Texas. Xavier Academy here in Houston nearly has all of its students and staff vaccinated, which I was actually surprised to hear that a private school is actually pushing for that and getting not only their students, but their staff vaccinated. So because they're actually quoted that they have 100% vaccination rates among their teachers and staff. So applaud you on that one. Galveston ISD also will be practicing social distancing right now. And they will be doing a lot more extra social distancing. They will be having like meals outdoors. They will, they haven't determined whether they're going to do the mask mandate, but they are looking in favor. Spring Branch ISD, they have put in protocols, more stricter protocols when it comes to the COVID-19. They have not mentioned whether or not they will be doing the mask mandate. Alvin ISD is another school district out here. They're doing protocols. They're actually training students at Alvin ISD on how to wear their mask properly, how to wash their hands, do social distancing. So I applaud Alvin for actually doing that. I know Pasadena ISD, Montgomery ISD, and LaPorte ISD are working on final plans for the COVID-19 protocols. So families, I actually encourage you to pay attention to your emails and your text messages because schools are trying to let you know what those changes are happening right now because this is happening so fast. Katy ISD said due to the update guidance, from TA, it'll post its updates, its safe return to plan on, as of yesterday. They will have protocols set in place. They will put that information on their homepage. A lot of this information I'm telling you right now is I found all of this, and I have to say, a lot of times it's like a labyrinth trying to find information on a school district's page. But when it came to this, I was able to go to the homepage of each school district and able to find their protocols and any changes that are happening. So you please, parents, check your emails, check your text messages, because school districts are trying to get in touch with parents and telling you those final protocols, especially the ones when it comes to the mask mandate. They're really trying to push that one. Now, here in Houston, we're having what our Mayor Turner, actually started this last Saturday, a Super Saturday Vaccination Day. This is going to be happening for the whole month of August. I have to applaud him for this one. He launched this Vaccination Day. Students get an easy way to get vaccinated before they go back to school. That's something you could check off your list, parents here in Houston. This is happening all across Houston. He is working with several school districts, the health department. I think it's about 11 school districts, and he's continuing to add more to his list. The office of the mayor has indicated that a $25 gift card will be provided to anyone who completes their vaccination series within 42 days of their first dosage at a Houston Health Department site. And these are normally at the schools. I will be posting that information on there, or you can give him a call. The school district that he's working with is Aldine, Ailey, Crosby, Cypress Fairbanks, Galena Park, HISD, Hoffman, Katy, Pasadena, Spring, and Spring Branch. And more is being added to that list. He's trying to aim for 17 more. So the first one had already happened. These are happening in the month of August. The next one is happening this Saturday. I will have that link information into the comments field to tell you about, which is the site of the City of Houston Emergency Operations Center. I had to think about how to say that. Which tells you the location of all of the Super Saturday vaccination days, making it easier for families to go to places that they're familiar with, which are these schools they can go to. They're encouraging families to get vaccinated, as well as their kids who are old enough, which is 12 and over. One thing I wanted to remind you of is the Supplemental Special Education Services, SSES. It is a $1,500 online account that the governor had set up. The deadline was in June, but now it has passed to, they have extended it to September. This is where parents who have students who have an IEP, or what we call an individual education program, funds that parents can use to help their students or parents or caregivers to purchase certain education and supplies services. This is, I think, is a great opportunity. If you need therapy for your child, or if you need any other tutoring, digital resources, all of this is what this SSES program is set up, that the governor had set up, and it's, you can get up to $1,500 online account. Parents do have to go to the TEA website to, create the account. Once you are eligible, then, and just remember, parents, this is not income based. This is not, it's if your child has an IEP on file and you follow these requirements, it's very simple 1, 2, 3 step on filling out that application. If they qualify, you get $1,500. You have a year to use that for services for your child. I think this is a great program. The deadline has extended to September 30th. I encourage all Texans to try out that program. I will be posting that information as well on the comments field. And it's, like I said, SSE program. And if you need it in Spanish, all of that information will be in Spanish as well. Now, I wanted to talk more about the legislative session. Like I mentioned, this is a big hot topic. I'm moving some of my notes around because I'm kind of hopping everywhere. It's a lot to talk about when it comes to back to school. For the legislative session, as I mentioned, we are in special session right now. The governor has called a second special session. That is a big thing here. Normally, we don't typically see that. The governor does have permission can do that. I can't say permission. To do that. Today marks the second legislation session, and right now it is in big topic because there are Republicans in Austin that are hoping to have enough House members in the state capitol to start a second session. Saturday, there was only about 81 members that were present in the session when the governor called out the special session. And just to sum up what happened, because there wasn't enough members there that showed up, they had to basically shut it down. They were not able to move forward. Then Monday, lawmakers ended the session again as they waited because only 95 members were present because they were short by 5, reaching a quorum. And that ended the day. They have to have 100. Now, if you're knowing what is a quorum, a quorum is a number of members required to conduct business. 2/3 of elected members constitute a quorum in each house. So this is the reason why they need 100 members to be in attendance. Many Democrats are refusing to go to the state capitol to participate because they're avoiding Austin in order to block a vote on the new election bill. And this is the reason why our Texas Supreme Court is saying if Democrats who do not show up to special session can be arrested. Wow. Just let you know, that part, that caught my attention. But what really, these are elected officials who represent us, who are not doing their due diligence. In special session, it costs taxpayers $1 million. So think about that. That is our money that is being wasted because they're not showing up because of a bill. Talk to your elected officials, encourage them to do their due diligence, and you know what? Get back to work. You need to get the work done. I'm just calling it out there. For that, this is the whole reason, and it's still out there. It was just announced that, they are going to put out a warrant. So that tells you they're mean business. So call your elected officials, tell them that they need to be in Austin if they are not there. I just wanted to let you know that is a big hot topic right now in Texas with everything that's happening now. Now, what I'm going to share with you, and let me share my screen, and I'm going to show you the petition that parents and schools have been completing about the mask mandate in Texas. I have to show this. And as you can see here, it says petition mask in Texas schools. As you see here, this is what's been going and flooding our governor's office. As you can see here, it was published on July 31st, and I'm gonna read you real quick what it says. And it says, Dear Governor Abbott and Commissioner Morath, we are families and citizens who are concerned about our children's lives in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. Amidst of the highly transmittable Delta variants, Texas has now surged to a COVID-19 positive rate of nearly 12%. In Harris County alone, the positive rate has surpassed 13%. Recently rise at the rate of 1 to 2% a week. These already detrimental rates are projected to continue to rise even more. Students from K through 12 are returning to school in a few weeks for the start of the fall semester. Since Texas schools aren't allowed, let me repeat, Texas schools aren't allowed to require masks, our children and staff are at heightened transmission risk. Sending children back to school without sound mitigation measures in place could lead to even a higher positive rate, long COVID cases, elevated hospitalization rates, and more deaths. As of July, 28th, and it starts going into more about, the recommendations and so forth. What I like here at the bottom is, Governor, we urge you to reverse the ban on mask mandate for K-12 public schools by granting schools the autonomy to determine their own policy for masking, including the rights to mandate masks. No children in Texas or I'm going to say this everywhere, should suffer contracting this deadly virus. This petition is in different language, Vietnamese, Spanish, Mandarin. I have to say it is awesome. Very simple. Here, which you can see, you put your first name, city, town, and you put your comment on here. Very simple and easy. That is something that I encourage all Texans here to complete this petition. If you have kids, or even if you don't have kids, if you're an aunt, an uncle, a caregiver, a grandparent, I'm a grandmother, fill out that petition and tell them why it's so important to lift that mask mandate and give these schools, the right to put these in there. And then encourage, for all schools to have this mask mandate. So that was the petition that I wanted to show out there, to show you that what's happening here in Texas. Like I said, we've been flooding the governor and Commissioner Morass emails, and more continue. I urge all of Texans to fill this petition out, because another wave is going to be going out as of this Friday. So you have until Friday to submit that petition. Go out there and do that, I say. I know I have sent out there. And another thing that I wanted to bring about is the State Board of Education is actually asking Texans to submit comments using a form, a very simple form, and as well as the Texas Education Agency, to help with their dyslexia handbook. And I was like, wow, this is something that we need to know and share more about with families out there. A lot of families don't even know that there is a dyslexia handbook guide out there. When I first learned that, my oldest niece was dyslexic, I didn't know until I technically had, when she was diagnosed with dyslexia, I had to learn all of this information until we got an advocate to help us with her schooling, is when I learned about the guidebook. And I was like, this is something that's just not given to parents to tell you, like, hey, here's a guidebook to help you with this stuff, and here to learn your rights. And so for the State Board of Education to say, hey, we need some help on there, first of all, parents, check out the guidebook. I'm going to put that link in the comments as well. But it's to put your comments of what you feel needs to be in that guidebook, something simple and easy for us to understand, things that help out our students, our babies. So I encourage all of you to do that. I'm going to share my screen real quick just so you can see this guidebook that's out there. Let me get, and it's a very simple, there you go, State Board of Education public comment on proposed rules. It shows you there, very simple. You put your name, title, email address. How do you describe yourself? Hey, I'm a Texas parent. These are the proposed rule actions. Now, I will be putting the dyslexia guidebook link in there, and I'm actually putting all of this information in our National Parents Union Texas Facebook page, because this is a lot of information I'm sharing here. You need to look at the guidebook in order to know where these amendments, these proposed amendments that they're wanting you to put your comments on. Very simple. This is where you submit your comments here and you upload them, and there you go. It is done. 1, 2, 3. I encourage families as well to use and to put out their comments. I've met so many parents to me who doesn't have, who, because they have a child who has challenges like dyslexia, know so much about it and know things that support them, tools and resources. Speak up, rise up, and fill out that form and tell them what needs to be in this guidebook. I know that's a lot of information that I'm giving out, but we need to have that on there so that all parents can know. And that's something that I will be sharing around. And as I mentioned, the back to school season, I mean, all around Houston, and I have to say in the state of Texas as well, there's events happening. You can find all this listing on the National Parents Union Texas Regional Facebook page. But I am going to mention some to you tonight. As I mentioned, one of them, Mayor Turner, is the back to school fair. That is going to be a drive-through one that's happening this weekend and throughout the whole month of August, where he's doing some other things, but the back to school one is this Saturday. It is a drive-through event. You will be able to get food. You will be able to get a backpack full of supplies, and you can also get vaccinated at the same time. So it's all-in-one drive-through. I think this is pretty cool. So you can get all the stuff you need for your back to school, get ready, and the mayor's providing all this all drive-through. And it's at NRG at the Yellow Lot. That's happening here this weekend. I'm going to make sure I have all of this information here. Give me a second. I was trying to get my times here. And that's from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's the Mayor's Back to School Fest. As I mentioned, it's NRG Yellow Lot. Another one that has been happening or is going to happen is the Living Word Fellowship Church Back to School Bash that's happening on August 14th. That is another one that I will be posting on there. They will be giving school supplies as well as a whole bunch of other. Some of these ones that I'm mentioning today will not only offer school supplies, but they are also offering haircuts. They are offering food. They are offering vaccinations. So all of these events that are happening around Houston are doing so much more than just school supply backpacks. As I mentioned, I will be putting all of this information into our National Parents Union Facebook page so that you can find it very easy. I have been posting on our social media. If you also go to My Child, My Voice Facebook page, I have been posting a lot of events, these back to school events that they are requiring you to register because it is a first come, first serve basis. I encourage you to sign up for that because there is a lot of what they're giving out for families all across Houston, from Fifth Ward to, TC Jester. And I mean, I'm talking Houston here. I know some of you are from out of state if you're watching, but if you're a Houstonian, you know what I'm talking about. All across Houston, we're having these events that are happening. And I wanted to make sure that all of y'all know what, is happening. I think the T Nation's fourth annual backpack, the health and wellness. Oh my God, that is such an awesome one that's happening. Not only are they doing the vaccinations, but they are also doing, like, when you come to their fest, they are actually training, like you can take a workshop on bullying, cyberbullying for students. I applaud them for doing that one out there as well. And that's on August 21st. That is one that I will be posting as well. Houston Community College in Stafford is doing their second annual Back to School Mega Fest. That's also another one that they're putting out information, not only for just school supplies, but also a lot of other ones. On as well, there's a lot happening on August 14th. The Good News Church off of Boone Road is doing their 8th annual Back to School event. I think that is awesome that they're doing that as well. If you know where Boone Road is, I've been to that church itself on many of their events. I applaud them for there. On August 21st, Family Day Out, Back to School by the Easter Seals. They're doing it across Houston in Levy Park from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. They are doing their back to school session or event. There is a third annual Back to School supply giveaway by Get It Girl Balloons and Event Design. Yes, I am mentioning that. They are giving hair braids, haircuts, school supplies, and much more from 2 to 5 p.m. on August 15th. I think that is awesome that they are doing this for their families out here that's coming up. Another one in Fifth Ward is the 12th annual backpack event by the Island of Hope. They're doing as well their back to school fest from 1 to 3 p.m. on August 22nd. That is to name a few of the back to school events that are happening here in Houston. I have to applaud my H-Town, my, Ciudad aquí, that my city my hometown, that is doing so much for our communities and helping out, especially during these trying times right now with this pandemic. So I applaud all of them for doing these events that are out there. I will be posting this. I know this is a lot that I'm bringing out here. I will be posting, like I said, all of this information on our National Parents Union Texas Region page. You can also find some of this that I've been sharing out on my social media, as well as My Child, My Voice Facebook page or Twitter, Instagram. All of that, it will have links for you to click on so you can find out when and where you have to register for these back to school events, especially the mayor ones and the vaccination days. So make sure you do all of that. And then, whew, that was a lot. I need to take a sip of my tea here. That was a lot that I'm bringing out to everybody. I hope this is really good information. I know that, when my kids were in school, it was a lot to know that I can go to my own community and find things that I needed, because I have, 4 kids, and sometimes you need some supplies, or, hey, it's great to know that I can get my kids' haircut before school starts, or get their hearing tested or their vision tested. All of these are happening across town. I will be posting all of this, so I hope this is helpful for everybody. There's a couple announcements that I do want to make. I know I just made a whole bunch of announcements. The other announcements is one thing that the National Parents Union is, we encourage you to check out our Organize to Get Organized. It is a great time for, this was something that 2 of our leaders in the National Parents Union that had created a webinar to show you how to be organized. But, as I think about it, when my kids were in school, it was great to know these tools and resources to help me get ready for the start of school. Got to put your reminders in your calendars, how to remind yourself, like for teacher conferences or, open house, or, just all of those things that, I have to say, webinar, I just went blank just for a second. The webinar really does help when it came to organization. So I will be putting that information as well on the National Parents Texas page on there. It should be on there as well, but I will be putting it in the link so that you can find that for, doing all of this organization. And another thing that I wanted to bring about is we have 2 of our partners that, I'm trying to find my notes here, is our San Antonio Charter Moms is hosting a series of workshops. This is a virtual workshop. I'm so excited to hear about this one. Inga Cotton from San Antonio Charter Moms, she's an executive director of that. She's offering advice about using STAR data to guide your personal learning at home, for advocating with your child's teacher in school for extra support. These are free workshops. There are 3 series going on. The first one is on August 12th. These are free virtual workshops. Check them out. Let me put this up on here so that you can see. I will have that link on there as well. And like, as I mentioned, the first workshop is this Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope you register for that. The next 2 dates are August 26th and September 9th. So thank you, San Antonio Charter Moms, for providing this free virtual STAR report card, workshop for families. I think this will be a great thing for us to learn. It took me a while to learn that beast. Another one of our Texas National Parents Union partners, Children at Risk, they're hosting also a virtual event called the Segregation of American Schools, the Economics of Inequity, on August 18th from 1. They're going to have a virtual event where education experts and advocates discuss the economics behind inequities and explore innovative ways schools can better reflect increasing diverse student bodies. I will be putting that link in the comment field as well. Let me go do that right now so that you can see these 2. I think these are great, workshops to attend. They're free, they're virtual. This is what I love about them. And that was, I just put in the one for the children at risk, and the San Antonio charter moms, I am putting theirs as well, so that you can apply for that one. And it's a free event. I encourage everybody to check out that one, the children at risk, the resegregation of American schools, economics of inequity. I think it's great. They actually host a lot of different, as well as San Antonio charter moms. But Children at Risk is a Houston-based nonprofit organization that does a lot for our schools and families out here. I applaud them for doing this one here. That is on August 18th. That it's coming up. And let me take a sip of my tea. That is a lot of information that I am sending out. If you have information, like if there's something that you want to bring up, as I mentioned, I am the Texas delegate for the National Parents Union. If there's something that you feel that we need to bring to the attention, either to the governor, to our commissioner, Mike Morath, or even to a principal at your child's school, we are here. We got you. I got you. If you need help, reach out to me. My information, I'm going to show it out here. You can reach me at wendy@mpunion.org if you need any, or just to get information about what the National Parents Union are. You know, the work that I do here in Houston is all about our babies. It's about putting our kids first. It's about making sure that parents have the tools and resources they need to support their kids from K through 12. The national parents are doing that, but on a national level. And we encourage you to join our group of, parents. That's who we are. We are parent to parent. It is a free membership. There is no cost to join the National Parents Union. And in fact, just to let you know that we are looking for more delegates across our, nation. If you're interested in becoming a delegate, you're welcome to send information to Tashfir at mpunion.org, and I will have that information there. Or you can go to info at mpunion.org if you want to apply to become a delegate. And if you want to learn more about the National Parents Union, reach out to me. I'm happy to help you, with more information or about, and mostly joining our National Parents Union Texas regional page. This is where I'm posting everything that I just mentioned tonight. You'll be seeing on that group page. All of the listing. I also mentioned about the Texas legislative information, updates, anything, even these back to school fests that I've been mentioning, these petitions that I mentioned. All of this information is all on our National Parents Union Texas regional page. Join it. It's free. Stay in the know. Be in the know when it comes to that. That is all that I have right now. That was a lot to talk about. I'm taking another sip of my tea. That was a lot. I don't know if you have any comments that you want to make, if you see that there needs to be some more of that resources that parents need to know, please reach out to me. As I mentioned, you can reach me at wendy@mpunion.org. I'm happy to provide information, any information to families as much as I can at easiest way I can. Stay in the know. Thank you so much for tuning in, and wait until next Tuesday for another episode of The Parent Connection, as well as My Child, My Voice does another Kid Connection show where we connect kids with story time and activities at the pleasure of your own home. We're going to talk about all this month in the Kid Connection about back to school. And these books are to help kids when it comes to the stress of back to school. So I hope you enjoy the Kid Connection as well, which is on Mondays at 2:30 p.m. It is recorded, so if you can't watch it at 2:30, you're welcome to watch it at any time. And as well as catches our next one, Parent Connection on Tuesday. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, good spirits from my house to yours. Thank you for watching My Child, My Voice Parent Connection. That's brought to you by the National Parents Union. Until then, everybody, stay safe. Stay tuned for the next episode. Have a nice night, everybody. Good night.